Hey besties, let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Besties, all I can say is, wow, it's Behind the Shade. And I just got through watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Reunion Part 2, Season 6, Episode 18. Yo, we gotta get into it. You ready? Let's do it. Because, baby, it's so much. Okay, first of all, isn't this Andy's first time that he got up and left the stage because no one listens to him when he tries to cool everybody down? I know that has got to be irritating. And I think that's where Andy's hair turns gray at. These reunion shows. It ain't nothing else but these reunion shows. I can't imagine hosting 8 women on a stage and they're all hollering and screaming and fussing and talking over each other and hollering. I can't. I just could not. I would have been walked off. But he finally got up and they're like, "No, Daddy, Eddie, come back, come back." And he came back. And Mary said, "Thank you for coming back." He was like, "Thanks, Mary." Let's get into it. So, Angie passes the scroll to Andy to read. And Lisa pulls her phone out saying, "Oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. I'm so glad you're doing this." So, honey, the tweet reads, "I liked Angie until I saw her flip flop for the rumor mill. That's not me." Andy read off her telephone number. "Is this your number?" "That's not me." "Is this your number?" "Yeah, but it's not connected to me. See, they put it in my phone. They put in my phone number and did this. Wendy Rose did this." Whitney, like, wait a minute. Wait, how did I enter into the chat? So now Angie, Whitney, and Lisa are all shouting at each other, right? Angie said, "She's been trolling me for 2 years. I've been watching her. It's so funny how I'll put a picture or, a post about Electra's birthday. And this Candace story person sees my story, but Lisa doesn't. And then she'll call me and say, 'Oh, tell Electra I said happy birthday.'" Angie has been investigating Candace's story, Lisa. They're all asking Lisa, how is it not her? Then everyone is talking and arguing, and this is when Andy walks off because he cannot get these ladies to be quiet or shut up, even. So he comes back, they apologize. Heather says she has proof of Lisa leaking the information. Lisa brings up what happened on the Red Rocks, and she said, "You also have pictures of that." And everybody's like, "Huh?" And they're like, "If you've been on this, everybody on this stage knows about the Red Rocks." And I'm like, "Huh?" Brahman is like, "Not me." So Meredith says, "That is where I was with the guy that I was dating when I was separated from Seth." Okay. Separated from Seth. Okay. Okay. Meredith. Ooh. So Meredith is like, they're trying to have a gotcha moment because it looks bad for them. How does you being on a date with another man looks bad to them? Because they got the pictures in their phone? They're trolling you? They're acting like paparazzi? No, they holding some information over your head in case they need it, honey. But Lisa is the one that brought it up. So why you not mad at your bestie, honey? Your bestie brought it up out of nowhere. It didn't even make sense. They all talking about how she was trolling Angie, and then she brings up the Red Rock. Okay, we're not gonna hold Lisa accountable. Got it. Clocked it. So Meredith is like, I don't care. No, that's Lisa's voice. I don't care. You don't care that your best friend just brought up your business and threw you under the bus on this stage in the middle of an argument to deflect her, to keep the focus off of her. She used you. That didn't bother you. You don't care. Okay, Meredith. I'll get back to you, Meredith, in a minute. So it's Mary's turn. This season, Mary has been the mediator of the group. They show many clips of her trying to glue these women back together. So then they bring up her son, and Mary cries for him. We learn that, Robert Jr. is in jail. He going over to his wife's father's house, and, he's causing a scene, breaking in, destroying property, and they call the police. And I believe there's a restraining order. So the last time he went over there, he broke the restraining order. So that's what landed him in jail. And Mary says she has learned to step back in this process. She's sad, of course, but she's happy because he could be in the graveyard, 6 feet under, or he could be using still. So at least she knows where he is and knows he's not using. She talks to him every day. She says she preaches to him and prays for him, and she's preaching. And, Andy asked, are you going to visit him? And she was like, oh, no, I couldn't imagine doing that. Then I said, okay, girl. Then she said she couldn't stomach seeing her son, behind a glass. And so he asked about Robert Sr., and Robert Sr. is planning on going to see him, I believe, but Robert Jr. wants books. So Robert Sr. is going to send him books, and Mary hopes that this scares Robert Jr. straight. So Mary's mom passed, and she says she has no regrets for not making amends with her mother before her passing, because they haven't been in each other's lives for about 25 years. Mary says she don't even know what it's like to have a mother. I'm like, wow. So Andy brings up the documentary about the cult. And, she says she's a tough cookie. This is just some more hurt that she has to deal with. She's happy to be supported by many of the fans, some of the ladies on stage. Mary says these are rumors. These rumors are old, and these are the same rumors that's been around since her grandmother was the pastor. And Andy asks, well, where did these rumors come from? Why are they repeating themselves? Like, why? What's up? So, Mary said it the best she could. She was like, Utah's not used to a Black Pentecostal church. They don't like our policies and our rules. Hey, I'm like, give me more. We need more. I wanted something else. I wanted you to say something else. Like, the issue is, Mary, they are allegedly, they say you are ran by money. You married that man for money. You doing things for money. You want the congregation to give you money. We heard the tape, girl. We heard you fussing about not getting enough money and birthday cards on your birthday. We heard about those meetings after church. Is it true? Is that the policy? Answer. Andy, I wish you would have went in more, but we'll move on. So Meredith is asked, like, why you don't stick up for Lisa? Yeah, because Lisa always sticking up for you. So Meredith is like, I never read the Sweets. Why am I? No, you guys, I'm so sorry. That's Lisa's voice. I never read the Suits because I'm her friend. So if you ask me about him, I can't tell you anything because I don't know anything about him. Lisa, yeah. we're good friends. See, Mary said, yeah, now. What, Mary? Yeah, Mary, we had one falling out. Mary was like, oh, so that's when you was calling her a whore and said she slept with half of New York? Uh-huh, remember that? Child, Meredith is quiet. Lisa's like, you know what? I am MFing sick, tired of hearing the same god darn things on repeat. Mary's like, don't swear on God. Don't do that. Well, I don't, but I'm frustrated. So someone's like, well, why did you bring that up? It was like 4 or 5 years ago. We've been cool since then. Like we've been cool for 4 or 5 years. And we fell out for 2 years. So Andy said, well, as a viewer, it's thought about on how you guys were able to repair your friendship. I was like, okay, Andy, good save there, buddy. And like he decided he don't want no smoke. So Andy asked Lisa, does she like that Mary took her side? And Lisa just sitting there like a mannequin. Hello, Lisa. Anybody home? No. Hello, Lisa. Mary and the rest of the girls say Lisa only cares about herself, and she don't even know what Andy's talking about. And she just sitting there being quiet. And somebody asks, why is she not moving? Lisa checked out, honey. She just sitting there like, duh. Poor thing. So Lisa like, okay, you should be happy. And they're like, wait, what? And Lisa's just like, you know what? She just can't even finish. She's like, this is wild. This is just wild. Mary, I just can't believe you just don't want to move forward with me. I just can't. And she's like, no, Lisa, you don't want to move forward. And she's like, Lisa, you agreed talking there with Whitney that my church was a cult. You even brought Cameron, my old boo thing, RIP. You brought my old work on the show to try to embarrass me. Okay? Okay? Ain't nobody went to go get that man's credit card you've been using. Nobody brought him on the show, but you bringing Mary's old work on the show. And Mary said, Lisa, you are the worst at forgiving. You dwell on things, and when you get mad, you tell it to the press and the internet, and you're talking negative about Bronwyn. You need help. I can help you. I don't want your help. You're very dark. What? Mary, you didn't say that. I don't need your help. Where is this coming from, Mary? Mary, you said she's dark. It's my truth. You know Mary don't give a darn what y'all talking about. Mary said what she said, honey. And that's why we like Mary on the show. Now, if she run a cult, we're not sure. Some say yes, some say no. I'm just here to watch the TV show. Hey. So next, back to Meredith and this super yacht, which is leading up to the plane. Oh, goodness. Finally, we get to the gusto. Child. This episode was good. Part 2 was good. I think part 2 of most reunions are always the best. After this, I was kind of like, we don't need no part 3. Wrap this thing up, Andy, in about 15 minutes. Actually, you know what? This episode should have been an hour and 15 minutes, and they could have just wrapped it on up. We didn't need no part 3. We got to get out of part 3s, Andy. We got to get out of part 3s. Okay, so before Meredith got on the plane, we already know she was crashing out. We already know they said she was drinking heavily at that bar, throwing them back. Brittany says she shouldn't have brought it up. I don't know. Why do they? Okay, she said she shouldn't have brought up the TikTok. Why do they keep referring to the marriage, the cheating rumor as the TikTok? Why can't they say, how come Brittany just can't say, I shouldn't have brought up that your husband was cheating on you? The cheating allegations, the cheating rumors. I shouldn't have said he's cheating on you. Why do we have to say the TikTok? So Bronwyn says, my marriage is always being brought up. I didn't lose my mind. I'm like, say that then, Bronwyn. So Brittany has some proof, honey, that Seth is cheating on Meredith. Yes, it's hearsay, but somebody told Jared. Allegedly, Seth told Jared that he has 2 girlfriends at his job. I said, okay, so one of them was the one he was caught in the Uber with, and maybe the other one is who Bronwyn ran into in New York. Honey, 2? Now, Seth, why do you have 2 girlfriends? You have a wife. You only need one side piece. Child, it be them dorky dudes, huh? Because Seth acts so dorky to me. How can you even balance 3 women? Child, well, he got 2. Lisa gonna say, yeah, you told me that, and I thought that was ridiculous. And you need to just admit it. Jared said that at Amy's party. And he also said that Todd goes to Dubai to get ED meds. Bronwyn is like, you told Brittany to make sure to say that on camera. Oh, you are so fake. Oh, you are trying to manipulate a narrative. Oh my goodness, Lisa. So you've been busted, Lisa. Brittany says when her and Meredith, she says when Meredith tilts her head and starts slurring her words, it kind of reminds her of when her daughter used to have seizures. She's like, I didn't say you have them. You just remind me. It triggers me that when you do that, it rings seizure, Meredith. Okay, so let's get to it. We want to know, why didn't anyone record Meredith crashing out on the plane? What happened? Whitney says she regretted not recording. She just regrets she didn't pick her phone up and start recording. Well, Heather says, well, here's my take on it. This was she was like being a POS. No. What she was saying was, what POS would really just record something like that? Y'all know what a POS is? Piece of beep, piece of ish. She said it was weird. We were trying to tolerate Meredith while we flying home. Like, it was weird. It was off-putting. It was, we wasn't expecting that. No one knew what to do. Heather said, we don't record each other. Child, then they ran a tape back where Heather was recording Lisa back in 2023 at the airport in Palm Springs when she lost that $60,000 wedding ring. She was recording her, well, not her. Heather was recording herself laughing with Lisa in the background spazzing out. But anyway, y'all do record. Well, whatever. It was weird. And you're not really supposed to have your phone on a plane. Not really, but unless you, whatever. Why didn't nobody? It's just weird that nobody, okay, not them, right? Because, of course, Meredith would get mad at you. But how, like, nobody else was in first class? And I keep hearing, well, the staff came by to check, like, but I get it. Everybody's white. The privilege is real. Meredith keeps pretending like, well, how come I didn't get arrested if I was doing all that? Because you're white and privileged and they just allowed you to. Nobody wanted that smoke. Shoot, they were scared of you. Shoot. So Heather is calling out Meredith's memory because, she got selective memory and she can never remember a full story and all this and all that. But she would deny something in a minute. So Meredith is like, I was hurt. And plus you've been screeching at me for 2 months. Heather said, F you. And guess what? You know what? Our friendship is over from this moment on. Buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a ride. Lisa was like, oh, that sounds like a threat. And it is. Because I've had your back, Meredith. Meredith's like, well, let me ask this. Why did anyone check on Britani or me if something happened? I never said nothing happened. Something happened. We just disagree about what happened. Now everybody is talking over on top of each other, back and forth and back again. Then Whitney is trying to say something about, well, I asked Meredith multiple times to calm down, and I knew she was upset. And then, then you'll bring me into the fight. And then you just started yelling at me. And I'm like, exactly. Meredith was like, well, it was said that Meredith said Whitney's name. And so Whitney was like, what you say about me? What happened? And she said, well, I was trying to find a TikTok, and Whitney went off on Meredith about not finding the TikTok or something. I'm like, now, why would Whitney go off on you about a TikTok? So Andy is like, why didn't anyone switch seats with Britani? More excuses, more excuses. Britani talked about, I got up to go use the bathroom, but I came back. She poured wine on my seat. We were in the air. It was getting rocky. All the flight attendants were sitting down, strapped in. I had to hurry up and put my head down. It was just like, what? So then Andy says, well, how come the producer didn't see you pouring wine in Britney's seat? And they're like, well, she was sitting way back. She was in a different service than me. And I'm like, Meredith, you poured wine in Britney's seat and you pulled her hair? I didn't touch Britney. They were like, well, did you shake her seat? They said her seat was rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. And so Meredith is explaining that when Lisa was asleep, she had to go use the bathroom. She got up with her sprained toe, and she's trying to gather her balance, and maybe she was holding on to the seat a little much, but that was it. She wasn't pulling her hair. She didn't pour any wine in her seat. And Meredith is being Meredith, not owning anything. So then Andy asked her, did you have a drink before boarding the plane? Chow. Yes. Britney said yes. I said yes. Meredith doesn't answer. And this is where it just goes dark and nuts and crazy and weirder. Instead of addressing the question, which would have led to her being considered an alcoholic and a pill popper and, all that. Oh, no. Meredith takes it so far left. I'm just like, if they don't fire Meredith because of this, I'm going to be mad. That's all. So Meredith calls Britney a bigot, talking about their nail technician said that Jews are PDFs who escaped persecution by fleeing to Israel. I'm like, here we go. Meredith is using this situation to manipulate the narrative. She's going to distract from her terrible behavior by implying something so serious onto Britney. And if I was Britney, I'll get into it. I'm getting upset because this is where it just gets dark. So the nail tech got a lot of bad reviews from that comment. The press, the news, everybody's involved, putting him on blast, blah, 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 blah. It's all over the news, right? So Meredith says that the dude asked Britney and Jared to write him a review on his Google page because they was eating him up, child. So she says Brittany and Jared wrote these glowing reviews for him, to boost up his business. And Meredith said Brittany acted like she had no clue. First of all, Brittany is very clueless. We all know that. So that's not, you're not saying nothing there that she wasn't acting. Brittany is clueless. So Meredith says that her and Brittany decided to have a talk about this because she was so upset. So she talked to Brittany, and she's like, an hour and 45 minutes. Brittany started screaming at me, and she was mean and nasty and condescending. And I'm sitting here like, Brittany, was that? Nah, Brittany started screaming at you. Oh, Meredith, you are being very reckless now. You're crossing the line. You're crossing the line. Brittany said these are all lies. She said, let me tell you the story. The nail tech does Meredith's nails, and he asked me to do my nails for free for a good review. So I said, okay, sure, free nails, cool. Write him a review, cool. And so Meredith was like, well, you didn't reach out to me or anything like that. And so Brittany says she didn't reach out to you. She didn't reach out to Meredith because she figured he was anti-Semitic. And so Meredith is trying to say that Brittany is anti-Semitic. And I'm like, wow. 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 So Brittany is like, look, I figured out what happened. I took my review down and I did not contact him anymore. And Meredith, you are just as guilty as I am for not knowing anything about it also. Meredith's like, this is very sensitive to me. Brittany said, these are all lies. She said, we talked, she was crying, and I held Meredith like a child. Now Brittany is crying. Lisa's like, oh, now she's being a victim, but we're lying, but now she can be a victim. And so Mary and them are like, okay, well, Brittany, say you're sorry. She was like, I said that 1,000,000 times. This is an excuse. And I'm being ganged up on. And I'm sick of this bull. I'm tired of being the low-hanging fruit. She's standing up. She's crying. They're like, oh, she's acting. Oh, my goodness. She's acting. Just because she's an actress doesn't mean she can't feel. She's not acting. You guys, Meredith, this is defamation. If I was Brittany, I would sue you. I would sue your crazy nutbag self. She's hollering. Brittany done got up. This is BS. I'm sick of it. I'm not a victim. Leave me alone. It is so unfair. And she gets up and walks off. How could you, Meredith? The question was, did you have a drink before you got on that plane? You was not going to let them people pile onto you about being an alcoholic and a pill popper. Wow. This was low, Meredith, even for you. This was low. This was low. This was low. That was the end of the episode. That was the end of the episode. Part 2 is over. It was hot. It was hot. Besties. I cannot believe Meredith. I cannot. I am so in my feelings. I can't even rate the show. I don't know. I mean, I know Brittany did come for Meredith, talking about her marriage. What else did what else? Whatever else. She just came, and I know, but this was low. This was low. And I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I will sue Meredith. Meredith is playing with people's lives. She could really ruin Brittany's life. Call it saying your husband cheated on you will not ruin your life. Saying you a pill popper, not ruin, but child. Besties, drop down in the comment section. Let's finish this conversation. Like the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on. And hey, besties, how about some hypes? Hype the video. Slide the comment section over to the left and hype the video for your girl. Get me in the algorithm. Let other people discover me. And we can have more besties. Till next time, it will be The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on Thursdays. Bye, besties.